who's the president that I spoke with, he said that because we have been such good customers over the year, they were willing to do that for us, which is something they don't offer. So we have a really good
So they trust us,
relationship.
and-
We
yeah.
trust
Right.
it, and I'm sure if we had to give back any of those machines, that would it would put a ding in our.
No, I agree.
in-
That was
that
my
it.
big question was, you know, we take delivery of this machine in August and we run it for 4 or 5 months, right? You know, put a couple hundred hours on it. And so it's a used machine. Then come March, you know, sorry, we're not going to fund $400,000, so we have to return the machine to the leasing company. And you know, do we have to pay for the hours of use, the depreciation, any maintenance that's due?
No.
You know, how's it getting from Madison back to Tennessee? Are we paying for that?
They'd come get
They'll
it.
come pick it up.
Oh yeah, I know, but you know,
Come
are
get it.
they going to charge us for that? That's my concern. You know, because we'd be terminating a lease 6.5 years early.
Sure.
You know, there's got to be.
Don't jinx it, Joe.
No, I know, but
But
have we seen the terms on the lease agreement of any early termination clause?
that's
the
what
fees?
that escape clause is. That's why it's there, is
I
to
don't know.
allow us to.
They just
have
let
that
us
option.
walk away, turn the machine in, a
Is-
used machine, and
Well, we did pay, when you think about it, we did make a payment. We paid with our grader, so they're not
That's the first
losing
payment.
out, in a sense. And you said it yourself, a used grader.
No, I know, but-
Still get their money back, so they're
We'll
not.
take it back in 5 months, sell it
If
for
it-
500,000.
Right.
If it weren't worth the risk, they wouldn't be. just-
well, that's what I'm asking. What's the risk to the town financially
you
if we
don't lose your credit
walk away from this?
You don't lose your credit rating.
We wouldn't
Yeah.
be
Right, we
paying
have to
any-
outright pay for things.
Same as anyone else.
Yeah, would they charge us the full rate for the first year? Would we have to pay the $68,000 or
No,
anything?
that's the purpose of that escape clause.
Okay.
Every one of our vehicles that we lease has an escape clause in it.
There was talk of it being a 45-day escape clause. What is that?
No, we had 45 days to, when you guys signed that document there a couple, was it 3 weeks ago?
Lease.
For the roll-off truck?
No, for
When you
this
guys-
grader.
To hold it so we could try and get this all
They
in
had
place
it,
and see how we want
they
it.
gave us 45 days to come up with a way
To pay for
to
it.
pay for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the
All right, so it's
45
45-day
day.
hold kind of
Yeah.
thing, not
Yeah,
a...
right. We weren't
The deal is
committed, right.
willing to hold it for us
Yeah.
till we can get financing or the lease in place.
Now remind me the start date?
It was
Was it just last week?
No, it was like 3 weeks ago.
Several weeks ago. It
So you
was
better
early
get moving
June.
on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Well,
Adam,
we're trying.
Right.
Adam alone signed that
I
one,
may be
or?
speaking
Yeah.
out of turn, but I'd like
Yeah.
to think that the
That-
majority of
so
the town
only required the
did
one
to see that
signature?
you're trying to save them
Okay.
$250,000.
No, I
It's
agree.
just a hold.
Yeah.
It's a very good deal.
No, it is a very, I
And-
think we agree on that. I just wanna make sure we're clear on the financing.
Yep.
And any penalties if, for some reason, you know, the warrant article gets voted down at the next town meeting. You know, it's a $500,000 commitment here. So I didn't want to see the town on the hook for, you know, $100,000 in penalties.
Just gotta have your ducks in a row and any questions come up, you gotta have your answers.
So we're halfway through the 45-day hold.
Well, now that I think about it, it must be 3 weeks, right? Because they signed it that night when it was just John and Adam.
Okay.
So we're about.
So that was so we're at 3 weeks.
Okay, so we're
So
halfway
we
through
still
the
have
45 days.
21,
You know,
right.
yeah. We just have about 3 weeks left.
Right.
Do we still have to hold a public hearing or anything?
We are
For
the
this?
selectmen are next week.
Next week is
Next
a public
Tuesday night,
hearing for
yep.
the grader?
Exactly.
On Tuesday night?
Yep,
Okay.
4:30 at the regular meeting. I posted it and put it in the paper and all that, just so that they can get some
approve
input
it,
and
right.
similar to what you guys are talking about, but
Okay.
here it's
So
No,
you
public.
make a decision that night, right?
They pretty much have to, because
They
that
have
45
to.
day is ticking. At that point,
Right.
you're only gonna have 2 weeks after that.
We're really up against the deadline here. I was talking with Josh earlier. The salesman already has other customers for this machine.
Oh, of course.
Sure,
Yeah, there's other towns that are like, you have a grader coming in.
Don't blink.
right.
Yeah, don't blink, that's, I know, I hate to be negotiating from a
Yeah.
point of desperation,
Exactly.
but we need a
But
road
it sounds
grader.
like it.
You know,
That-
yeah.
Right, it's necessary.
Well, this is an email that Linda has been back and forth with, and, you know, there's a chain of emails, but this was today. Linda just checking in on the status of the grader purchase. I have several other towns wanting to purchase the unit if the town of Madison decides not to purchase it. Thanks.
And that's
That's real,
humanity.
that's real, oh yeah,
Fair for
that's,
them,
And it's
right.
also a given.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know, but-
right.
if we delay that, and that was another one of my concerns, if we wait till March the warrant article gets approved,
18
we're 18 months, we're gonna pay $480,000 for this machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go back to rent one
For 2 years.
at
Yeah,
that,
for-
at
for-
that 86,000, I mean, but by the time you get done renting it, you're at $86,000.
Yeah.
That's the number.
No, I agree. What was Burke charging us? 3,600 a week for the big
Yeah.
grader?
And then you gotta pay for trucking back and forth,
So
so.
there's $500.
Oh, so he charges you to
Oh, yeah.
pick it up, drop it off,
Transportation.
yep. Okay.
Do we have the equipment to pick it up? No, it's a massive thing.
No, this is a big
Yeah.
flatbed.
Yeah.
And Josh and I were talking about it earlier, but when when you have a grader, if there's an issue that's, in the middle of one road right there, you can go fix it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're gonna be, well, we're gonna wait 3 weeks till we have the opportunity to be able to rent. We're not gonna rent to fix something like that.
And we're already behind on repairs from the storm damage and, we had 3 mud seasons this spring.
Yeah.
And the roads were really torn up. I mean, they were bad. So we're already behind, the curveball here on this.
All right, so at this point, the path was, we put the hold on, and then we've got more details about the financing. Do we have it in writing that there'll be no penalties, and, is that documented?
Can we clarify that just to make sure there's no surprise come March? Can you check with Mark or whoever your contact
That's
is?
the essence of the
Yes.
municipal escape clause. That's why.
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
can we
So where
get
is
it
it-
in writing or
Exactly.
what it
If
is?
the
Yeah.
dealer accepts that escape clause, selling to a municipality, that's the way, those are the rules. They know that.
Well, yeah, we
That's
just
what-
want to make sure.
Have we
that
seen, I haven't seen the, the write-up, the
That's why
terminology.
it came into existence years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
I was in a process where we had to, a city council refused to fund, I gotta be careful how I say this. A large purchase, because it didn't work. It just didn't do what it was supposed to do. They took it and that was it, it was over.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that it's
Sure.
documented so that we understand the language and we have any,
Yeah,
if we have any
just
questions.
cover our bases on this and that way, we don't have a big financial surprise,
Sure. And you
Yeah,
can
if
answer that
something
question
happens.
we'd have something in writing at the
Yeah.
public hearing to
Perfect.
answer.
that would be a good response for the public hearing, just so everybody knows we can show what the total cost is and what any risk is, to the town.
All right, so playing out the scenarios, we go into public hearing, everyone is on board with signing the lease and then going to March 2025 town meeting for an official vote. We go into the meeting, there's an uproar, people don't want us to enter this lease. It's up to the selectmen then to make a decision to do it regardless of,
Not at town meeting. Town meeting would decide over the selectmen. At this public hearing, the selectmen are the ones in charge. You guys will get to be able to make the decision tonight, but ultimately, when you go to town meetings can override the selectmen.
right, but I'm saying if folks show up at the public hearing, and I just misspoken, if people show up at the public hearing and they're not loving this idea, they're not
Oh.
loving this plan.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes.
In March, yeah.
No,
No,
next
no,
Tuesday.
next-
Yeah.
oh, next Tuesday, sorry.
Public
Okay.
hearing.
Got it.
People show up, they are not liking this plan. The select board still have accepted public input, but
Exactly.
still
They can-
decide
It's your
based on the
decision,
information they have.
right.
Sure.
Okay,
That is right. You're right.
okay. And then the other option that we had, I know you were trying to get a hold of the DRA. The other option was to try to throw together
Right.
a special town meeting as quickly as possible. And I was reading up on DRA website, looking at their procedures and all that. I know you were trying to get a hold of our DRA contact.
Yeah.
Were you successful?
No, well, we kinda, when we came into the meeting last week, those are the two options. Either we were gonna go this direction or, not we, the selectmen were either gonna go this direction or the direction of a town meeting. And at that point, going one way or the other, you kinda gave up the option of the other. So at this point, we would not be able to pull together a town meeting within that 45 days window.
I think I kind of got the impression that we couldn't have anyway.
It would have been really tight.
Yeah.
But not within those 45 days, but I think part of our thought process may have been that if it did decide to go the way of a town meeting, that there probably would have been the option for us to have extended that 45 days maybe with them knowing that we're in it, we're trying to do this, we're going for a town meeting, I think was more could have been a possibility, but we weren't assured that we would be able to go past that 45 days with that option.
Can we still ask them?
Sure, we could ask them.
You know, I just, I don't want people to come and be really upset that we've just committed to $500,000
yeah.
without their blessing with, we'll get their input.
I was gonna
at
say,
the
but
public-
technically you haven't,
What?
because you're gonna wait until the meeting, till the selectmen's meeting, but.
That's the whole thing with the
Right.
escape clause, so,
Right.
we haven't committed, we've committed to, in my opinion, committed to doing the right thing, the financially responsible
Yeah.
thing for the town.
I mean,
Right.
this isn't the first time this happened. In 1990, the fire department,
Right.
we found ourselves here, we hadn't bought a fire truck since 1977. And in 1990, we found ourselves with $30,000 in a trust fund and fire trucks $300,000. And we were scrambling to try to figure out how we were gonna pay for a fire truck. And of course, the people went along with it, but we're in it's the same boat. You need a grader.
No, I agree.
Right, but we have to make sure, sorry.
No, we need, I think we all agree, we need a machine.
Yeah.
The roads aren't getting repaired,
No.
we need this machine. And just wanna make sure that, we're covering the bases financially. And that's why I was very concerned with this escape clause, what any impact would be, if we, for some reason, are we going to, I don't know. But if the voters do not approve the warrant article, where do we stand? We're gonna lose the machine, we know that, but are we putting out more money to pay for depreciation on this machine?
We wouldn't, but I'll get that
Yeah, if we
assured.
can, that would be ideal for, I think, the upcoming selectmen meeting.
And if it did come to trying the town meeting route now, it wouldn't involve DRA, we'd kind of be jumping over DRA, because we have to go to court.
Okay.
So when the selectmen, if the selectmen decide to go the route of a town meeting, at that point, notification has to be made within 24 hours to the public, and as soon as you can into a newspaper. You have to wait 10 days before you can petition the court. And then at that 10-day point, then you can petition the court for an emergency hearing so that they can decide whether or not you can have that town meeting. And then at that point, you're still, a solid 3 weeks before you could have a town meeting, because you have to post like you normally would for a regular town meeting. You have to create a warrant and you have to post it and notify and all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a lengthier process to do it.
Mhm.
So it'd be 24 hours that we'd have to file with the court. Is that what you said?
No, from the night that,
Say
from-
public hearing next week.
Okay, so next week, if the selectmen decide not to go this route and decide they're gonna have a public hearing, a town meeting.
Town meeting, special meeting.
From that night of that decision, within 24 hours, public notice has to be posted in town that says, the selectmen intend to have a special town meeting and they will be petitioning the court. I'm not sure the exact language, but that's the idea. So that would get posted, and then from Tuesday night, you still have to wait 10 days before Cordell would be able to send something to the court asking them to set up a emergency hearing for us to be able to ask for a special town meeting.
How come the 10-day waiting period, to wait for public feedback, or?
I don't know that, what happens during those 10 days, I'm not sure, but this was a timeline that Cordell had given me.
Mhm.
And the RSAs are the ones that dictate how that all happens.
And what, you send a blank check along with all that?
Yeah.
Well,
well,
yeah,
yeah.
there would be court fees and there
Yeah.
would be filing fees, and we'd be paying Cordell,
Right.
to do all that, but.
And the cost to run the meeting.
Right,
So,
but
yeah, it
but
would
when you're
be
talking
inexpensive.
$500,000.
No, I
this is-
agree.
Even
Yeah.
if this is 5,000, it's still.
And Mike and I had actually talked about what we would do, because the school's closed for the summer, so if we did have it, it would probably be something that we try and do at the fire station if we were to have, a town meeting. That would
Right.
probably be the location for it.
Right, okay. So there would be some 10-day wait until Cordell could file with the court?
Correct.
Does the court have to respond within a certain time frame, or?
I don't know of anything, we would be asking for emergency, so I would like to think that we could jump to a little bit of the front of the line, but it all depends.
Okay, and then if the court approves, then it would be 3 weeks from that,
At least.
at least 3 weeks?
I'm assuming that we would kind of be prepping, you know, I'd have like a warrant going and that kind of thing, but you
Right.
guys would have to, just be like town meeting, you would have to have a public hearing, you would sign a warrant, you would have to give the notice, you know, that post it just like we do in, you know, February, March every year.
Mhm.
And, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have another budget-related question, if we can, this will be my last one, I promise. You know, this, we'll say the $68,000 a year payment for this grader has not been budgeted, right? It's not in the current year budget, and next year there will be a warrant article. So what do we see as a potential increase in the tax rate to pay for the $68,000? Do we know what impact that is?
We looked at last year's report, and it looked like it'd be about 2 cents per thousand on the tax rate.
2 cents per thousand?
So,
No, just, I think that question may come up as well at the meeting on Tuesday. People are gonna know how much is coming out of my pocket to pay for this machine.
Basically, where it is every time, it's either 2 or 3 cents a thousand.
Okay, just,
basically what I used was this page here from last
On your
year's
valuation.
warrant summary. I found a piece, where was I at? There was something that was around that amount.
oh, okay.
But, and then see what I mean, there's the
So about
rate per
2 cents per
so that's
thousand.
how I figured it.
Okay,
Okay, but if someone has a $300,000 home,
Right.
and we're doing 2 cents per
2 cents times 300.
300, okay,
so
$60.
60 or 600?
600.
Is it, am my decimal
I think.
point off?
$60.
I wasn't a math major, so
$60.
$60?
.02 times 300.
So about $60. Okay, because that's a good number, I think, that people should know. If you own a $300,000 house, your $60 would be going to
And
pay for
that-
the grader.
Those numbers there are also before revenues are taken into consideration.
Okay.
So it's just an estimate.
No, I just want to, so people are aware
Right.
that, you know, it's not a lot of money on your tax bill. It will go up $60.
Yeah.
More expensive homes, maybe $100.
Right.
Right, $120. Okay.
And we won't be fixing the old grader anymore.
And we won't be spending
Well, you won't be spending-
$50,000 on the old grader.
Right.
Yeah. Which, again, it almost comes out even.
Yeah.
We're getting a brand new machine and we're not
Right.
pouring money into an old machine.
Right.
Yeah, so. Okay,
Well,
any
we held
other?
on to this one too long.
Right.
No, we did.
That's the-
And we discussed that, I think, at our last budget meeting. We'd like to do better on that.
Yeah,
Kind of review where we are on some of the town equipment and get into
I've got a
a
plan.
better, replacement cycle.
Yep.
So we're not waiting till it's broken down, unusable, and
Find yourself in this situation.
in this
There's a camp,
situation,
right.
yeah, this is not an ideal situation.
And if I might,
No,
I
go
was
ahead.
talking to,
Sure.
that UNHT too, and asking about the graders and how, what all the different towns around the state do, and, and I'm sure, as Jeff Slade would tell us the same thing, so most towns are doing these lease purchases for like 10 years, and if you keep a piece of equipment like this for 10 years, after 10 years, you still got about 60 to 65% of the value
Right.
of that machine
That's,
after 10 years to trade it in and sit as opposed to keeping it for 40 years and
40.
you got nothing.
and
Right.
without nothing, yeah. But again, that machine new back in 1987 was probably under $200,000.
Probably, I don't remember what it was we paid
$150,000
for it, yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, if it was
Everything
two- if
is,
it was
double,
250,
triple
I
in
would be
price.
surprised.
Yeah.
I can imagine it was 200,000.
Yeah, probably $150,000 back in the day. So, I mean, we've gotten more than our money.
Which is like
in
420
Which
today.
now, yeah, everything's gone 3 times in price.
Yeah, I was going back through all the town reports for mentions of the grader and conversations with the grader, and it's killing me to see how many times, we'll do it next year.
Yeah.
We kind of patched it up for a couple more years. We'll do
Right.
it.
Now look.
I know, it's like,
Just kept kicking, and I think even one of the town meetings said, kicking the can, which we're down the road.
no, I know, it, unfortunately, it's musical chairs and the music has stopped.
Right.
And now we have to do
Right.
something.
And that's the
Right.
only motor grader the town's ever owned.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
no, we're in a position now where we have to do, we have to
Right.
do something, so.
18 years ago, we lost the transmission
Yeah.
in that machine. And we had an opportunity at that time, the cat dealer came in, we talked to Cat, and I don't remember the exact, I think it was like $280 or something like that to replace it with a brand new one. Or pay the $30,000 to replace the transmission, and we had a public hearing like we're gonna do now, and there was one upset individual that came in and told us never to ever sell that and
Yeah.
keep it forever, and
Look at
so
it
we
now.
did. And
Yeah, we did.
hindsight being 2020, I wish we had
No.
agreed to that.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the plan that came up, or similar to what Conway or other towns using. We look at maybe 8, 10 years from now, where we can still get 60, 70%. You know, even at the end of our warranty period.
Right, and you can
Right.
start putting money away.
Then we
now,
put some
too.
money, then we
Right.
still have a huge residual value in the current
Exactly.
machine.
Right, makes
So then
sense.
we get a, you know, a 2032 road grader,
Right,
or even a lower rate than what we're paying now, and then
Right.
we have another 7-year warranty, and, you know.
That's an appropriate thing to do.
right.
Yeah.
That's a hard sell.
It's a hard sell, I agree, but,
So,
yeah.
so what's our plan B? I mean, if folks, whether it's a town meeting, whether it's, we have a special town meeting, whether it's a public hearing, what's the plan B?
Do you think there's
if
really
this
gonna be a
doesn't-
huge kickback?
Unless people have all of this information that we have, unless they need to have that in their hands. They need to review it, right? And we need to encourage people to watch this conversation if they don't wanna read, you know? But what is, I mean, we have to have a contingency plan.
I think the only contingency plan is you rent one for,
2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, places.
For $86,000 a year.
Right, just,
Yeah.
which just
And we
doesn't
can't
make
plow snow with
sense.
them.
Right.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Everywhere
so,
I go, I don't hear anything too awful bad, so.
well, playing out the scenario, renting is the same as the 84,000 a year that you just estimated for financing.
That's what it costs
and maintenance.
financing to run the
And
machine.
maintenance, yeah.
And fuel,
Yeah.
you know, everything, tires, you name it.
Yeah,
Keep the machine on the road, yeah.
so what would be the rental cost for how much we would use it? We wouldn't use it 365 days a year, 52, weeks a year. We would use it how much, and what is the actual number? Because again, people are gonna ask, right? I'm not the only one who wants to know, so if we have those numbers, it just helps give the folks confidence that we're going the right route.
It just
So-
seems to me that if we were renting,
Mhm.
we wouldn't be renting it to plow snow.
no.
We wouldn't have it
you
for the
can't
winter.
plow snow.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have it, so you lose there.
So you lose that whole.
Do we currently use it to plow snow?
Yeah, oh,
Well,
yeah.
it has a big wing plow on it. Oh,
But
yeah.
it's been broken a lot, so how much have
Well,
we?
the last
used it?
time it broke was because we were plowing snow
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Caught on fire while we were plowing snow with it, and
So how often have we used it in the past 2 years to plow?
And probably every time you had the high wing, would be
Yeah.
my guess.
yeah,
So,
when you
I
high
need
wing-
numbers, give me numbers.
75% of the time,
Yeah.
you know.
some of these big storms, I don't know, exactly every single time we use
The
it.
roads probably need to be pushed back.
I've seen it on my road plenty of
Yeah,
times.
so if once you get a lot of snow bankings, you gotta push the snow, we get a lot of snow, you gotta push it out of the ditches, so
Yeah.
when it melts
Yeah.
and,
So the past couple winters, we really we didn't have a lot of snow, so,
well, that's easy for somebody to say
Yeah.
that this is not out plowing, so, I mean, every time, we get a few drops of snow and the phone's ringing off the hook to get out there and push snow,
so again, I'm trying to.
We have had snow, and I think we've plowed, we had a stretch in the middle of this winter that was light, I will give you that, but,
Then it came on
then
strong.
it came on strong.
It came on, did
I
come on
mean,
strong towards the end of
When
the
you get a
winter.
30-inch snowstorm, and sometimes you can't keep up with it, and so you call the grader, so you gotta take the grader out just to push the snow out of the road, so.
Plus, we need to be prepared.
Or you
Yeah.
can scrape ice,
Yeah,
You can-
right, you
If
know,
you lose a road to pack, you can scrape the pack off.
that happens a lot, and you know,
Right.
so when you get the heavy wet snow, it packs, the car's packing, and a lot of travel, you gotta take the grader out.
Right,
for-
but we need to quantify this as much as possible to come up with the dollar amount, right? So,
We know it's $3,600 a week to
Mhm.
rent from Burke Quarry,
yeah,
but the Burke Quarry grader does not have a Craig mount for a wing plow.
okay.
It's summer only.
You
machine.
cannot plow snow
Yeah,
with
it's a
it.
summer only machine.
And how much grading, when we have an operational grader, how are we grading every day? Are we grading one day a week? Are we, if we have it, can we do all the grading in a week and then take a week off and then do a ton of grading the next week?
So typically, you want to, with a grader, you want to, in the springtime, you do your spring grading
Mhm.
to take care of the roads, and that can take, you're a good solid week doing every road in town.
Okay,
And then throughout the summer, you're just really fixing the potholes, if you need to put in some gravel on certain roads, putting, you know, gravel out from time to time.
Dealing with storms.
Yeah, if you get washouts or heavy rains or floods.
that never
or-
happens in Madison.
Yeah, or, you know,
We're still cleaning
like
up
that.
from the last one.
I'll show you
Also,
pictures.
also with a grader, so we need to do more ditching. And you do a lot of ditching with a grader, taking the dirt out of the ditches so the water can run, bringing them up into the road and picking it up. On mostly dirt, but you can do that on paved roads as well, so, some paved roads. What else do we do with it? And then in the fall, obviously you do your fall grading, so, and usually in the fall, you know, you put a crown in the road. In the summertime, you take the crown out of the road in the fall, so it's not, you know, it's a little flatter, less what most people do, most grader operators do.
So is that, again, like a 1 week maintenance like spring, or is that
Yeah,
More.
it'd probably take a week
Okay.
or so in the spring, in the fall.
fall, yeah?
And then wintertime, it all depends on the amount of snowfall.
So again, we couldn't use the Burke one in the winter, but, so in the summer, if I'm hearing you correctly, minimum 1 full straight week in spring, 1 full straight week in fall, and then in between, how frequently is it used? Again, is it something that you could,
Again, weather
every
dependent.
other, yeah,
Yeah.
but is it,
But if you had one, you would use it more often,
Right,
obviously.
right.
right, but,
Exactly. And also, a lot of people, I mean, just all the shim they put on, and we've done it before, we did it before with our grader, but we don't do it anymore, but putting down shim for paving roads, or, you know, you get a rough road, you can spread asphalt with it. We did that years ago, but we haven't done that in a long time.
Renting one, I know it's layman's terms, but to me, renting a grader is like renting a shotgun. If you have a grader, you need a grader.
Yeah.
And you don't go rent a shotgun, because when you need a shotgun, you got it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no,
but again, we need to make sure that people understand if, you know, this is not a viable option, that it's not a viable option, but they at least have the information to support the decision to purchase. It's just making sure that everybody has all the
Yeah,
information they need.
another approach might be, what would the cost be if we didn't have it?
That's what I'm saying.
well, you're
like,
gonna lose your roads.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing.
You're gonna lose every bit of them.
Wait, has there been a kick
And if we're,
about
if we're
it?
renting
People
from
been
Burke,
upset
and
about
it's not available.
the idea of getting it?
Well, yeah, what do we do if we can't get the machine?
I don't know anything about
So
it.
No,
what's the
a lot of
cost
people are
of not
asking
doing
me,
it?
Yeah.
and a lot of people are
I'm just
going,
curious.
$500,000,
Well,
you know,
take
how
that
are we
hill
gonna
up
pay
by
for
your
that? It's not
house.
in the budget.
One good
Yeah.
rain, and if you can send these guys out in the middle of that rain and straighten that road out, you won't lose the hill. If,
I remember
if you
it
lose
was,
that road, now you're out $100,000.
What was it?
Yeah.
I forget which storm it was, the second one where, I mean, half the hill came down over towards the school. It was all washing down. And that afternoon, the DPW guys were out there with a loader with equipment, clearing the road, the stones and the mud and everything that all came washing down.
Colby Hill, Mooney.
Colby Hill, it was awful.
right.
And that's when you go, I'm glad we got a reliable grader that we can get out there and fix the roads. You know, and I think it's definitely something we need in the town. We use it enough, we can justify it. Again, I just wanna
So
make
make sure
sure
that we do.
that we do.
We
Right.
had to,
Yeah.
you know, I'll just tell you that, you know, we finally got the grader back last year and got it fixed and we were able to use it. And when it broke down this last time and we were in the middle of doing our spring grading and when Justin came over, we were working in the field over here and he says, oh, it's, you know, antifreeze is pouring right on the ground. I almost threw up because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, we cannot go through
Can't
this
keep doing it.
again.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's like, and then, you know, we called Cat and then when are they gonna get here? And they put us on a priority list, thankfully, but we still had to rent Burke so we could finish it up and knock on wood, they've held up good
Yeah.
so far this year.
that's the thing, you know, the downtime costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
When you're in the middle of a job and the machine breaks down, you got 3 or 4 guys in the dump truck, the loader, the grader, and then you can't finish out.
And I don't know this for a fact, but I know I think, and Port might be able to talk to it better, but they can actually read what's wrong with your machine on certain things from a computer and like.
Oh, well, they can.
Probably from
Yeah,
wherever they
can
are,
read-
right.
They can read what it's doing, if it's acting up, they can tell you where it is.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to give them directions to where, but I know where you are, I'll be there in half an hour.
Well, and a quick story about that is that, you know, the state, I don't know if it was John Deere, I think what they had for backhoe, it was going down the road one day a couple of years ago and the guy went to flip the button he thought it was the windshield wiper, but it was the emergency brake and it's just a button and he flipped it and it locked the tires up and it stopped right in. And it wasn't 2 minutes later,
They call.
they called the foreman of the highway garage of the state garage and said, hey, you guys all right? Is everything all right?
Yeah.
Because we just got an alert that you're
Right.
stopped. You know.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's people, they're watching.
Right.
There's no two ways around it.
They got investment in it, so yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
Okay, so what's,
So I've just done some math,
okay,
okay? If we have it, and we have, it's $3,600 a week, and we used it 52 weeks a year, and that's $187,000 a year.
yeah,
So, a lot more expensive.
Way more.
Even if we only used it for 26 weeks out of the year, $93,600 a year.
Right.
so it's still more than,
Yeah.
Right, so this
Right.
is what folks
Right.
will ask. This
Right.
is
No,
now
thank you
what
for
we're
It
doing.
running
doesn't
those
seem like a
numbers.
frivolous,
Right.
I think for me, I mean anyways,
Well,
as a
right, but-
taxpayer, I'd be like, yes, we need this. I mean, it seems,
Yeah.
but what do I?
if you live up the end of Winter Road and you can't get through there because of the ruts and the washouts,
So I'm
you
excited.
wanna see the DPW road grader coming
Yeah.
out your way. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then if actually doing the tax rate, if a property value is 300,000, then that per thousand is 300, the tax rate at 2 cents is actually $6, not 60. If-
$6.
Again, if Excel is
If it's
applying to
right,
me.
right.
Yeah, that's,
right.
I've lost a
If I've
decimal place in
entered,
there.
all right, I won't blame
Right.
Excel, if I've entered the
Yeah.
numbers right, I can't blame Excel.
Right.
That's $6 for a $300,000 property value.
So
I'll make sure to come to.
what's
a
the
meeting
average
on
property
Monday.
value in Madison, you know, so we're talking maybe $6 to $20 impact per homeowner.
Boy,
That's a good number. I think that's a fair number to tell people.
And the other thing is you're folding on an entire budget, there'll be additions and adjustments.
Mhm.
So it really is.
Okay,
Right,
Any-
in the long term, they're gonna be savings. I mean, it just makes sense.
okay, so what's the
Moving on.
plan now? So this will be discussed at the selectmen meeting, public
Tuesday.
meeting Tuesday night
Correct, 4:30.
4:30.
at 4:30?
Okay.
Okay, what do we need, what do you need from the budget committee for that? I mean, we can attend, I
You
can
should come,
attend.
Joe, and show all your stuff.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
just made a,
You know, just
Right.
wanna make sure we're prepared and, you know, so people can make an informed decision.
right, and I think you've done a lot of research and, you know, it's pretty obvious, so.
In my opinion, I think we're not gonna get a machine like this at a better price.
Right,
If we wait, the cost is gonna go up,
Keep going up.
right.
and it's gonna impact the maintenance of the town roads. Right now,
Right.
we're really in a jam right now.
Right.
Because we did not do this 10 years ago.
Right.
Or
Right.
20.
Or
Right.
20 years ago, right?
And now it's too late, so now
It's too
let's
late.
just
We're,
get this
I
and
know,
move
and
on.
I
Right.
hate to negotiate or be in a position like this where we're kind of negotiating with CAT through, from a position of need,
Right.
right?
And they know it.
And they know it, or anybody, right?
Okay,
You know,
But it
You're
doesn't
good.
seem like
But
they're
they're giving us what I believe is a fair
right?
price.
Right.
And I also looked at the used cat grader market, and they're very expensive. The 32.5 that he's offering, if we can get that full value, that's a very fair price for that machine, because they're going from $10,000 to about $39,000. So 32.5 is a good price for that machine. Again, contingent upon whatever they say about the current issue. So, it's my opinion. I think we should proceed for Tuesday night and see what we can do. Do we? I guess we need a motion, right, to
What?
for the budget committee to concur with moving forward with the lease of this machine.
So moved.
Make a recommendation?
Make a recommendation to the selectmen to, based on our analysis and the need of the town, that we proceed with this.
We support, we
Acquisition.
support.
Or the words of right, because we're just advising.
We're advising. I know, we're
advisory-
making a recommendation.
We're the advisory budget.
Well, do you wanna advise the 7 years or the 10 years? That's,
I'm in favor of the 7 years, just
As well.
because we're saving money on interest. We're talking,
Right.
Big money.
$50,000.
yeah, 512,000 for 10 years or 473.
The difference is huge.
It's $50,000, $40,000
and you're
difference.
still in the warranty zone.
And we have full coverage while we're paying for the machine
Right.
for 7 years.
You're not stretching out another 3 years
Yeah.
with nothing.
At
You're
our
just
risk.
walking on air,
Yeah, so,
so,
no, I don't think we can do any better.
yeah.
And meet the town's requirements. I'm hoping that people at the meeting concur with our assessment.
Well, I mean, you can't go wrong.
So people are gonna want the information.
Yes.
Can we put together a data sheet? Can we put
What do you
together?
want me to put
The
together?
math that we just did, right, that hypothetically
really
using,
show
this tax rate.
If that
$6
tax rate, how much the impact is gonna
Right,
be on
yeah.
people?
Shocked.
And then, rental, again, this 52, renting 52 weeks, if we needed one to snowplow over the winter, 187,000, at 3,600 a week, if we
Right.
only did it half the year, because it doesn't,
Right.
plow for us, it's still 93.
You're still at $93,000 a year.
Yeah.
Even 13 weeks, we're still at $50,000. Yeah.
And it's gone and you don't have anything
Yeah,
at the end.
that money's gone,
You
yeah.
don't have anything at the end.
So,
Any
I can help
other
with that
further
information.
discussion or comments?
I think
I
just,
think
Well,
we-
I think we
I think we put enough
Yeah.
time, research into this. We're not making a hasty
should be
decision.
able to.
One other
Right,
thing,
yeah.
if you wanna put it in your evaluation, and I know lots of people asked in the past, is, did we get prices from other brands, and, cause it's not proprietary, I mean, there's several companies that make graders, there's Cat, there's John Deere, there's
Right.
Volvo,
Volvo.
different ones, and we have, and I don't have them right in front of me, but I do have some if you would like to, that I got prices
Yep.
in the past, and, last year for a John Deere 775, which is the equivalent of this 140, was 498, and that didn't include a plow and wing,
yep,
which would be about another $80,000 or $90,000.
That's why back, it was early June when we first started discussing this. I went out, did kind of a market survey, just across the country, see what these things were, how much new ones, used ones, were. And most of them are more money than for some of the used ones than what we're paying for a brand new
Right.
2024 that has all the features we need. It's coming already with the Craig mounts on it and everything.
Yeah, that's what I was surprised.
That's a lot of extra money for that equipment.
all right, so a couple of questions that we just wanna have ready, answers ready for folks, is, if the grader would cost a lot to fix, the current one, would Milton Cat accept it as is? When we talk about the annually with no payment being made for the first year, it's still 7 years, like we're not paying
Yeah.
8 years of interest because we're only, if we
Right.
didn't have the
That's a
$32,000
fair
down
question,
payment,
yeah.
we're still just paying that 7 years.
I
That's what it
received a
is, right.
comment that, I forget who made it, and I don't wanna call anybody out, that, the first year is free, and it's not. Just wanna make people,
Yeah,
we're not writing a check for 68,000 that first year, but that finance company is charging us 5.99% the day we sign
Of
that lease.
course.
So nothing's free in life. I just want people to understand that.
We just don't have to make a payment.
We're not making the payment for 1 year, but we're still accruing
The interest.
interest on the principal for that time period.
That's the
Okay.
arrears part of it.
The arrears part of it, yes. Just make sure that people are aware of that as well.
So another question I had was, are we using any of the highway heavy equipment ETF to pay for this?
That wasn't the plan.
Okay.
Do we have funds available and,
I think there's what, $20,000 if that in there?
that would deplete the account? Yeah, yeah, so then we'd have no reserve at
Leave that in
all.
there, right,
Yeah,
It should have 250 in it.
right.
yeah,
So
I
that's
know.
something-
Again, we're playing catch up.
Right,
I
that we
know.
need to think about.
I'm seeing 14,000 in it.
So there you
And
go.
There you go.
No, but
Well,
I
that's even
think,
better.
does that include the 10,000 that we added this year though?
So it's 24,000.
So I think it is, it's like 24, and then I think you
24K?
may, I think you may
Yeah,
have
that-
already spent some of it that hasn't been reimbursed yet.
Just with the cost of things, you can't, what can you buy for $25,000 now?
No,
2 tires for the front of the grader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a
Alright.
water pump.
So,
All right,
yeah.
Moving
let
on.
me quickly bang out the questions, we're gonna be done.
Okay.
Will Milton Cat accept as is? That's a quick question we need answered. Annual, no payment being made in the first year, but still interest. Escape clause, what is the wording of the escape clause?
Yep.
Penalties for early termination lease, sounds like no, but we're gonna confirm.
Let's confirm.
Yep. Customer value agreement, CVA, what is the cost of that, what does it include? What training is included for the high-tech piece of this glass cockpit? Again, we have guys who know how to run graders,
Justin's
others can be
good.
turned, you're
Yeah.
right, but do they know how to operate the glass cockpit? Is that training included? Are they gonna need more than the standard training, and is that an extra cost? We'll include the costs for if we rented, and then, again, people need to understand like what the timeline would look like for a special town meeting. So a minimum 4.5 weeks, because as Linda laid out, 24 hours, then 10 days, then 3 weeks. So a minimum of a month.
Yeah,
Over a
well, yes, because in between that 10 days and 3 weeks,
Yeah.
that's when the court has to decide when they're gonna hear it. So there's a window there that we don't know what will
Okay.
be. And
So,
then
yeah,
that's
have
the
those-
other thing, that would CAT hold it for us
That's the
that
thing.
long?
Yes.
We're gonna lose that
'Cause we'll-
machine.
Well,
Right.
let's ask.
Yeah.
No, we need to, let's ask. I agree.
I don't wanna keep making
I
assumptions,
know,
let's
I
ask.
know.
Let's
We'll ask. I agree.
Concrete answers,
I agree.
numbers, okay. That sound?
Is that the plan for this coming Tuesday?
Yes, that would,
Yes,
that's all,
have those for
yep.
Tuesday.
So if you want to work together on a data sheet, cause I just took.
Because I have a lot of the data, I can add
I'm thinking a one pager.
just a
One-
summary
Just a
sheet,
summary sheet, cost.
and we'll base it on the 7-year.
I mean, we can, provide your full data packet if folks have time to
No,
read it.
but people, they want an
Want
executive
the one
summary.
page.
Like a 3x5.
Yeah, here's what it is, here's what it's gonna cost.
Poster board.
Yeah,
We'll get you a Vanna White
Yeah,
thing where you can
that's
turn the
fine. I'll do
letters.
it for
Okay.
you. I don't
All right.
mind.
okay, I apologize for spending so much time on this, but it was an important, I think it was very important.
I'm glad that you're passionate about it, Joe.
We're looking at a
That's
$500,000
helpful for
acquisition.
everybody,
Oh, big
right?
money.
And it's big money.
It's helpful for
And
everybody.
we need to make sure that when we go to the meeting on Tuesday, the public who are attending, we have our facts and figures, we've done our homework.
Right, right.
And
And that's
here's
fair.
why we recommend proceeding this
Exactly.
way.
Yeah.
You know,
Folks will have
we're
a
just not making a willy-nilly
Yeah.
decision
Like
here,
going out and buying a Camaro.
Right,
You know,
right.
okay? Do we need to make a motion to recommend the selectmen proceed?
I
Yeah.
think you
We did,
you guys
right?
just
Okay.
said, right?
Yes.
Did you already vote? No?
No, we need
We didn't
to,
vote.
so we need to vote on it, right?
I kinda, well, between Joe and Rick, the motion was made.
Okay, so, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
That's support,
Was that
right?
sorry, was
Hmm?
that
Support
unanimous?
that.
We support,
Yes.
recommend,
I wasn't looking.
Yes.
that, we
Yes.
recommend that the selectmen proceed, you know, with a 7-year
Absolutely.
lease for
I
this
have that
machine.
you recommend you
Is
support the
that,
purchase of the new
okay.
grader with a 7-year
Any,
lease.
that's
Correct.
it? Any other
That's what I heard
public
too.
comments or
On that grader
concerns?
piece.
Thank you for everybody's input on this because, you know,
I'm
I think
excited.
we had a very good discussion and we covered all of the important
I
areas,
think we covered all of the areas,
which
important or not.
we should, we should.
Which good, again, it's.
We're spending a lot of money, we're
Yeah.
spending a lot of money here.
Yep.
Okay, we have to, next on the agenda, finally, I know we're running a little bit late here, 2024 budget drawdown. Linda sent it, I got a copy the other day when she sent it out.
Should be in your packets.
Yeah, I looked at it and everything looked on track. I didn't see any major overruns or,
Supplies under election registration vital, we're 593.
yeah, but it was only a low dollar
Right,
budget,
the
right?
one,
Yeah.
what supplies do we purchase for the,
Elections.
page 2
Yeah.
under, towards the top? Because we still have the 2 more elections coming, September and November. So,
Off the top of my head. it must
Okay,
be
so we
somewhere.
budgeted $150
that can't be right.
and
That isn't
we
right.
spent $890.84. So we're $740.84 over budget.
I'll find out, I don't,
There's like a zero missing.
Is there something, yeah, because it's
Yeah,
almost
no.
600% overrun.
no, my bottom line came out right, so I know it was only $150.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Let me see if I have the,
Can we confirm that? I mean, we're only
I can find
talking
out.
$150, but still, why?
Sure, it looks-
Why, it looks
Looks
bad.
weird.
Yeah, it looks weird.
Yeah.
and then a lot of the assessing costs are at, the 90s, but that's because it was just kind of upfront for the year.
Right, so the assessing ones?
Yeah,
Most of that stuff we just pay at the beginning of the year and that's the end of it, like the support. Yeah, the contract we pay monthly, but that'll end just about right. The computer support, we pay that all up front.
yeah.
The kiosk, we pay that all up front. So,
It's big.
Outside of our proposed grader acquisition, are there any other anticipated major expenses this year? That, you know,
this year, or you mean to
or
bring to
for the
town
current
meeting?
budget, yeah.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, no. No, there's nothing else.
You mean like equipment, Joe, or just?
No, you know, last year, I believe the air conditioner broke down, the
Oh,
cooling
right, yeah.
system in the town hall. Have we,
Nothing-
do we have any other major expenses like that?
Nothing that we know we're
potential? Nothing
dancing
we know?
around or anything
Okay.
like that at this point now.
And what's the 30,000 been spent on for the town projects?
Oh, goodness. Well, so I need placeholders for some things. So, we've been paying some of the, water testing, bills, and I take it out of town projects until we get enough together to ask the trustees to give us the money back, and then I reimburse that line.
For the PFAS testing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's in there, and there was something else that was in there. I don't know, a lot of it's.
Do we know where we are with that, speaking of it, with the
with-
PFAS and?
They supposedly have got some data, but they haven't put it in report form or let us know what any of it means yet. That's as far as I know, but they have been taking samples out of those tubes that they put up.
So the tubes
So-
are in and they are doing the water
I believe
sampling.
they've been
water.
by and done at least one sample, but it hasn't been put into anything that would mean anything for
Will
us
that,
yet.
the money that was allocated at the town meeting, the 35,000, I think that Mike Brooks asked
We
for.
said, yeah.
Is that enough money to pay for all of this water testing? I wonder where we stand.
Well, it's for the
with it.
preliminary part of it, is what
Yeah.
it's supposed to do, is just to find out what we're gonna eventually have to do, and
No,
then all
just
that
because that
will be
could get
over and above.
expensive if they find that it
Certainly.
needs further testing or mitigation or
Yeah,
whatever.
the company gave us the $35,000 idea for this preliminary stuff. That's
Okay.
where we got that number from.
So, highway, DPW parts, we pretty much capped out at the 30,000 for the year.
Yeah.
So that's a line that, if we're barely halfway into the year, how
Well,
much?
we got kind of boogered up on that one because there was some parts for the new truck that we didn't anticipate.
The roll-off?
No, the dump truck.
Okay.
And I don't have the drawdown right in front of me, the detail, but I think it was like $20,000 or
Is this a new truck?
I wanna say 12.
12,000.
That wasn't, when, in 2023, the numbers that we used to buy the truck at town meeting and ask for the lease for weren't, basically it wasn't enough. There wasn't an update done fast enough or close enough to town meeting, so we asked for a little bit short money at town meeting than it actually was. And that, when we
Took an entire year to get
took,
Yeah,
Truck.
which is
took possession,
To the day.
that was due.
where it is now. I mean,
Yeah.
trucks are $300,000.
We didn't know.
It's crazy.
And, you know, when you're getting estimates on the truck, you know, you're buying the chassis, the truck and the chassis, and then you're buying the dump body, and you're buying the sanders and the plow parts go with it. And it's actually 3 different vendors you're going through, and you're trying to get all the parts and pieces together, and we asked for about $12,000 short.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's slightly under half of it, and
That
then,
was a big hit. And we expected that to come out of like last year's budget, because we wouldn't have thought that the truck would take this long for us to get it. So even if it wouldn't, you know what I mean, it wouldn't have been such a necessarily an impact.
all right, so where, do we have to brace for impact then for the next 6 months?
Knock on wood, I hope not.
No more grader
No,
repairs.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's killing us.
Yeah. all right, so we just have to keep an eye on that.
Keep an
And
eye
I
on
think
that one.
I don't know, I'll have to look, if I had the breakdown, or the detail, I could, we've been hurting on that line since we got the truck. It was right after town meeting.
Breakdowns come up by the hour.
Yeah,
You're gonna,
don't know.
All right, and then field maintenance,
That's a placeholder because of
Okay.
the money that we spent for the sand and things that we've been buying for the field right now. So really, all that 88.5 is gonna get paid off out of the expendable trust fund, the ball field expendable trust fund. Again, that's a placeholder, because actually, if you see, there's a 0 in the budget line.
yeah,
It's all gonna get wiped out.
okay. And the general maintenance line as well?
I think we bought, what did we buy? No, I don't believe it's under, what did we, was it the RAF? Nope, yeah.
Which one?
And the general maintenance for the Parks and
Park
Rec.
and Rec.
That was your tractor, your lawnmower,
Oh, the
right?
lawnmower, yeah. the
That's what that
lawnmower.
was.
Yeah, because we're over budget by $3,900.
Yep, that was the lawnmower that came out of that line.
I didn't know where to put that.
Yeah.
Well, this is a tool, so if that's,
Yeah.
the best
And I
place.
didn't know there was no line for it.
Because it's not major equipment,
Right.
that necessarily needs its own warrant article,
Right.
but still have to.
How much was the mower?
I think it was,
I wanna say like 4,300 or something.
Oh, is this one of
That
those
sounds about right to me.
Zero turn.
zero turn mowers? Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. Any questions or comments on the 2024 drawdown? Any other?
Give me a minute.
No, I see we're at 46.5%, spent, total expenses, so it seems to be, we're on
you're
track.
in June, so.
Yeah, we're already in
Yeah.
June, that's why I say we're on track.
Last week, we were at, I just did the math, we were at 44.6% of the year last week when this was
So that's
Okay.
good.
the numbers from the pay.
So actually, the rec advertising, what was?
That was the
$500?
ad,
Is that because it was fancy?
sort of, and you ran it for 2 weeks straight
Like,
for the counselors. Or it was run for 2 weeks straight.
Oh, for hiring for counselors
Yeah, it was
or something?
$39 a
Help wanted?
day for 2 weeks, so it was,
Wow,
and 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
yeah, I thought we normally just advertised like Friday, Saturday.
I did put the department.
Okay.
So
this was the help
40
wanted
lashes
sign?
with a wet noodle. And again,
Help wanted.
we kinda need to reconsider that because,
Did anybody apply?
no,
Yeah.
we're full, but
Good,
it was
good.
primarily, word of mouth because it's all paraprofessionals and teachers who already work with the kids all year.
So you're fully, the rec program's fully staffed
I
for the summer?
believe
Okay.
so. I believe so. So, all right. So it's ironic that those ads, it was all word of mouth and
Right.
wonderful
You
people who already
never
work
know.
with the kids. So thank
That's
you to
good.
everybody who signed up.
You're welcome, just kidding, I'm not doing
You and I do it for free.
I'm volunteering.
Right, you and I get our background
But
checks
you
and we
guys paid
volunteer
for my
for free.
CPR and first aid, so,
True, we are officially
Right.
CTR certified to help out, yep,
so you're welcome.
to volunteer.
No, I love doing it, I don't mind.
Just quick question, I remember, we're underrunning on police salaries, full-time officers. I believe Chief King said he was gonna hire another officer, is that officer gonna join the department? I forget, it was a few meetings ago.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where he's at. I know he'll be talking with Jim, who's gonna be taking over for
Jim
him. Yeah,
Hayford.
Hayford, starting in September, he'll be taking over, so I think they'll talk and decide how they're gonna,
Yeah, no, it just,
those numbers.
we're underrunning on the police salaries, I assume because we have the vacancy for the full-time officer.
Well, I thought my understanding with Chief King's plan was not to have a full-time replacement.
right,
but
he
to
was
do-
mostly using part-timers.
He's
to
using
cover-
part-timers, yeah, that's right,
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah.
remember the
And
exact.
so if you look, he's at 75% of his part-time and not having used his regular line, so it's kind of washing.
Okay, all right.
And then, his contract was renegotiated to pay his health insurance through the end of the year when he retires in August. What line does that come out of?
It's just gonna keep coming out of personnel administration.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't change that line.
So it's
'cause it
not
was
coming
already-
out of the police?
No,
line
all
item?
all health insurance and dental come out of the personnel administration line, and it was worked in, planned for him to have a year's worth of insurance already in that line.
How often do we do that?
Do,
Pay for insurance for folks who've moved on?
I don't know, I'm not familiar with, it happens, I know that there's usually some kind of an agreement made when a, police
Planned
officer,
retirement,
chief retires. Yeah, that's not, it's typical to have those kind of things. I don't know how
Okay.
many times it's happened in Madison, but.
You have any other
Give me a minute.
questions? Okay, all right.
I'm trying.
You have a minute, we're running a little bit late
A
here.
minute. Is that, so DPW solid waste, maintenance line, is that the maintenance line that we're at 7,400 out of 10,000? Is that again equipment or is that,
I'd have to look at the detail on that, I think, I would imagine, I think, cause we've had a couple breakdowns on the compactor, and when that happens, that can get expensive.
I think you did on the backhoe too.
Oh, in the back.
Oh, the backhoe was down and out too.
Yeah,
That's another item we need to start looking at soon.
Yeah.
so is this all tracked in iWork?
what's that?
This is all tracked in iWork? Like we've got
Yes, yeah. Yep.
what maintenance costs are going to what piece of equipment and Dave will be able to get us a report so we can.
Yeah, Dave's supposed to give me an overview of that. He's been busy and I've been busy.
Yep.
But we are gonna get together and just I'd like to take a look at the software and,
Yep.
our
Alright, so I mean,
goal-
it just kind of, it answers your question of, we're capping out on a lot of these maintenance lines, so we
Yeah.
just have to keep an eye on them
keep an
and
eye on them.
tighten our belts where we can, especially if we're gonna take a $500,000 hit for a grader. Okay, now I'm done, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, discussion on a drawdown?
This is mine.
Income revenue review. We're getting there, folks. A few more minutes. Linda put together a couple sheets here, just showing revenues from January through December 2024 anticipated.
Well,
Is this-
it's actual.
It is
Actuals
It's up-
received
it's
to date.
year to date, sorry, I
Year to
thought I
date,
put
received
year to
to
date
date,
on here
yeah,
somewhere,
okay.
but.
Alright, cause summer rec is a lot higher than that.
Right,
So it
and,
doesn't include.
and actually, it's kind of maybe not, well, right, because the square
Square.
things haven't been processed yet, like transferred into any of this
Okay.
stuff yet, so.
Alright.
Because you have,
Right.
what, 60 campers this year?
Yeah,
It's quite a few.
Yeah, we can only
It's
handle,
full, right?
we're only staffing
My
about
kids only got in for
40-ish.
1 week.
Jump, Sarah.
I know,
You gotta get in there early.
I know.
Yeah, so this is just a,
Vote early and vote often.
an
That's on
estimate.
you, no.
So is this
We're
done,
gonna take a rash for that one.
is this done through the QuickBooks or
Yeah,
how, okay,
QuickBooks.
so this is pulled out from that?
I pulled, I mean, we didn't have really a revenue report that we use, like, you know, I mean, well, short of this, the MS 535 is a better tool for a
Yeah.
lot of that. But
How
I
do they
just
talk
kind
to
of
each
pulled this
other?
together.
It's, you know, we enter, for, again, taking rec, we enter into QuickBooks, right, when we deposit stuff, whether it's, you know, fees, revenue, and then how does it get into this?
Physically, this is, I enter this on the portal.
Oh, you do
The
that?
DRA's
Okay. All right.
portal. Those numbers and any of those forms, you have to go onto their thing and then you just take, you plug it in.
Okay, so you're basically
Well,
looking,
well, yes and no, but this 535 is the auditors did this for us. I don't do the 535.
alright, so where do they get it from?
From QuickBooks,
Okay.
yeah, same
Do they
thing.
go into, like, do you just spit them out a report or?
Reports.
Yeah,
They
okay.
get that all the time,
So you
yeah.
give them a report, they
Exactly.
review it, okay,
Yep.
thank you.
That's why we pay them the big bucks.
Okay, any other questions, comments on the revenues to date that Linda put together for us?
It can be a work in progress because like I said, I just kind of pulled the things that actually give us some money.
What about the federal reimbursement? Where does that stand?
Well, the
We haven't
FEMA,
got any yet.
What's
So, we haven't received anything,
what I
any
heard-
reimbursements yet.
What are we looking at?
Oh, well, so I think in the next few weeks, we should be getting reimbursed for, I think it's like 268,000 for Colby Hill. And then, they're working on, Michael's really working on,
It's a lot of work.
it's pretty
a lot of
ridiculous.
Yeah,
But
but
it's,
that's great that, I mean, it's important that he's
Yeah.
doing it, it's,
and,
How can we that's a select board question,
yeah,
redistribution of workload, cause it's not right to have one person
no.
loaded like that.
Last week, I was at a Carroll County volunteer meeting, and Ben Belanger from Maggie Hassan's office was there. And I've known him for ages. And he asked me if the town had received the $375,000 FEMA reimbursement. I said, I don't know. I forgot to ask the selectmen at the last meeting. Is that something you want me to, I can ask him the status of that reimbursement?
Well, actually, I'm sure Michael has all that information
Okay,
too.
all right.
he's on it.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday
him.
for an hour in the morning, he does like a Zoom call with all kinds of FEMA people, and they update
Okay.
every single week what's been going on, and he's in charge of all the paperwork. So he's got his finger on the pulse of where each, they call it, was it a project or a job or each?
project number,
Project
yeah,
number
PN
is
number,
at-
and every
Alright.
road has a different PN number, and
Oh, geez.
it's,
No, Ben was just following through
Yeah.
because when he came
Yeah, right, I
to
remember.
after the storms, he goes, hey, did you guys get your money yet? I said, I wasn't sure.
But-
I'd asked the
And
selectmen.
it's not that we're,
Yeah.
like, they haven't given it to us, but there's still a few little things that we have to finish
Okay.
before we get it. So we're in line to.
We're in line to get the money.
We-
Okay.
the other thing that was holding us up from a $268,000 check is he went up and took GPS coordinates of the culverts that we removed off of Colby Hill Road. And he gave them, and the GPS, when he plugged in the GPS coordinates at
It wasn't
FEMA,
exact
it wasn't
location.
exactly where they were,
Oh.
so he's gotta go back and take more GPS coordinates, and it's just time consuming,
Yeah.
and,
It's a lot.
yeah.
It is, it's a lot of
Yeah,
paperwork
and
and
it's great
everything,
that he's
but I'm
really
glad,
dedicated to doing it.
And then we're
'cause
sitting down,
It's a lot of money
when we
for
get a
us.
second, with me and Justin and Mike all sit down, we go over the PN, each project and where we're at with them, and where he can forward them to FEMA for reimbursements.
No, that's gonna be a lifesaver when that money comes in,
Yeah.
especially this year. Okay. Any other business that we need to discuss? I think we've covered all our bases here.
And then ran around them again.
Ran around them again. Hey, we're very detailed and
No
thorough.
wonder I basically.
Sure,
One thing,
yeah.
one thing, on other business, so I know so obviously Elwin is interested in,
Yep.
he talked about it at the last selectmen's meeting, and I know I believe our rules state that it's the chairman appoints. I don't know I don't know what the situation is with Sharon, but have you spoken with her? Or did
I
she-
called her twice, she sent me an email, I called her twice, she hasn't called me back. I understand she fell down, broke her leg or something, I don't know the situation there.
I spoke with her yesterday, and she sent me your voicemail, and it had like a 978 number or something. She asked me to call you, and I called, and the number wasn't in service. So I reached back to her. I said, "Hey, I tried calling Mr. King," and she goes, "Oh, it must be the wrong number." So I'm glad you came tonight, and I spoke with Sharon, and my preference is she's in rehab right now. She'll be back in a few weeks' time. For our next meeting.
Physical rehab.
Physical rehab, yeah, make that clear. Thank-
Oh, boy. Physical rehab.
That's true, I didn't think that way. You see?
Just
Now I'm
saying.
getting in trouble.
Just saying.
But,
You're welcome, Sharon.
Classic.
if we can bring up your,
We were questioning.
appointment to the board with her, when I told her, I said I wasn't comfortable,
Doesn't make any difference to
in
me.
doing that. But, no, I appreciate you came tonight because, your input on the grader and
Oh,
stuff
I'm gonna be right here till,
was valuable, so.
Can we, I think in the future, I don't know, we can talk about this later or whatever, but to change the rules, so normally, you would have the board vote on new members, like planning board, ZBA, if there's a fill-in, if somebody, we need to have spaces to fill. Just a thought down the road. And can we keep, Ellen on the, maybe, I know you've probably given him the information that we're
I
getting
can
and.
include him in the.
No,
So
again,
you
yeah,
keep
I'm
up to date.
glad Owen came because his input was very good tonight.
And we
No,
know,
we haven't forgot about you, and I did speak with Sharon about it.
yeah, oh no,
I just want, because I'm not the chairperson,
Yep.
I'm like the deputy, whatever,
once I learned she had
deputy dog.
hurt her leg,
Yeah.
I figured I'd just wait.
So I deferred to her.
Yep.
And she agreed, she said she was gonna reach out to you,
Yep.
so, okay,
She was on the move today, so that.
yeah,
Oh, it didn't
She
happen.
moved from Portsmouth to Portland.
yeah,
Oh,
so,
Yeah, she's got a
okay.
rehab facility.
But I think, the next meeting, hopefully she'll be back and we can address this.
when's the next meeting?
July.
July 16th or something? Yeah.
It's the Tuesday that's not the selectmen's meeting, so the selectmen are on the 7th, so it's the following one, which would make sense.
Okay,
I will not be
Is
here
it the
for
7th?
that
No, not the
meeting.
7th.
So July 2nd or no?
No,
No,
it's
that wasn't on the
The
list.
16th. Okay.
16th,
yes.
okay.
Yep.
I will not be here that meeting, I'm going away. I can Zoom if you.
Oh, I think you
need
said
me
that at the
to.
very beginning, yes. All right.
all
I can
right.
Zoom if you need me,
We
but
addressed that,
I can Zoom in if you need me to.
for
but
public
it's gonna be
comments,
okay
I
without
think
me.
we've covered that. I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn this
I mean,
meeting after, what time is it, quarter of 8?
So,
No.
Yeah, 7:41.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That was a good discussion.